Winston, a wild horse who lived in the midst of whispering meadows, where the grass shifted like emerald waves. Winston's eyes glittered with morning dew, and his coat glowed like sunny earth. He had a dream of jumping over the Great Canyon and touching the sky with his hooves. One morning, Winston stood on the canyon's edge. The light had painted the sky gold, yet worries lingered around him. Other animals neighed, believing his desire was impossible to realize, claiming that no horse had ever achieved that leap. But Winston's heart was resolute, recalling his mother's words. Dreams are like stars, guiding you in the darkest nights. Winston took a deep breath and charged ahead. His hooves thundered, propelling him into the air. Everyone was surprised when he sailed above the canyon, his hooves touching the sky. Deep in the woodland stood the ancient whispering willow. Its leaves communicated encouragement to anyone who heard the delicate rustle. Winston heard its murmurs, which encouraged him to pursue his aspirations. Winston expressed gratitude by patting the wise tree before continuing on his way. Winston had hardships, yet he never gave up. He jumped across rivers and canyons, establishing a legend. So recall Winston's narrative. It tells us not to give up on our dreams. Keep going because magic happens when we follow our dreams.
Shep was a small sheep who lived in the peaceful hills of Woolly Meadow, where the grass shifted back and forth gently in the wind. Shep was famous for both his incredibly silky wool and his kind nature. Simple pleasures like dancing in the silvery moonlight and looking up at the stars that sparkled back at him from the night sky occupied his days. Shep, however, had a secret tucked away inside his fluffy chest. He firmly thought that kindness was the most enchantment of all. A light wind blew across Woolly Meadow one lovely morning as the sun cast the meadow in a golden and green glow. The other sheep were gathered close together, the wind's playful fingers tangled and tousled their wool. Still, Shep stood with built-in worth, his wool swelling in a soft song. With huge eyes full of inquiry, the other sheep watched in extreme surprise. Shep's kind disposition slowly started to work its spell on Woolly Meadow. He heard a faint, loud cry echoing through the hills one hazy afternoon. Little Lila was there, a stray lamb who had gotten away from her flock. Her trembling figure made Shep's heart melt. His calm behavior was a comfort to Lila's very scared spirit, as he led her back to safety with careful steps and comforting words. Shep's generosity was talked about like wildflowers in bloom. Shep had a soft touch that even the sour ram Rude, who guarded Woolly Meadow's entrance, found sweet and lovable. Rude was attracted to Shep's calm expression, despite his rough and sharp horns and loud stomps. Shep's mild strategies had their effect, and day by day Rude's hard face turned into an occasional smile. Shep gathered the animals under the starry sky one magical night when the moon hung low, covering the meadow in a silvery brilliance. He talked about the stars and how their soft light shone through the darkness, giving them a quiet strength.
Just like the stars, we too can shine brightly with our gentleness.
Shep's words awakened something deep inside the animals, and they listened carefully. Their wool brushed against the gentle night breeze as they danced together in the moon's hug. They realized at that very moment that kindness was more than simply a quality. It was a magical and mysterious energy that united them in harmony. They had learned Shep's lesson. Shep's kind spirit blew around Woolly Meadow like a soft breeze after that night. His presence brought comfort to broken hearts, and even the stressiest and worriest of people experienced the warmth of kindness. At that moment, Shep realized that honest magic was kindness, the type that warmed people's hearts and created a more hopeful, loving world. So, my little children, let's find our greatest strength in gentleness. When we are nice to others, we create a world full of wonder and love.
Seashells shone and waves hid secrets on the sandy shore, where Clara, a small crab with a huge heart, lived deep in the ocean. Clara's eyes were as blue as the sea, and her eyes shone like waves that had been softly and tenderly touched by the light. However, Clara stood out for her consistent thankfulness. Buried in the middle of the sand, Clara's happy home was a shell built like a sandcastle. Every morning she looked outside with amazement in her eyes. With their wings catching the sunlight, seagulls flew overhead. Clara loved and honored her shell, which served as both a comfortable safe place and a safe place from the outside world. But Clara knew that shells needed to be changed, much like clothes. So Clara had a brief itching on the great molting day at a time when the moon was low in the sky. Her shell cracked open, exposing a delicate, sharp-eyed body. Clara had to shed her skin, support the future, and let go of the past. Clara grew larger with every molt. Her new shell was bigger and bigger. As she rushed along the shore, she looked around and met different water-based life. Clara thanked each species for their friendship, wisdom, and sense of humor. Her thankfulness flooded her heart. Raindrops pounded like little drums against Clara's shell one stormy night. The waves crashed against the coast, and the wind howled. Clara enjoyed cuddling up with her companion, the hermit crab. They laughed, sang, and told stories till the storm passed. Clara realized that appreciation shielded her heart from life's storms, much like a strong shell. With eyes as old as the ocean, the wise old crab communicated some valuable knowledge to Clara. "It's like molting being thankful," he said. "It sheds the old and makes room for growth." Under the starry night sky, Clara danced with thankfulness, her shell shining and sparkling in the moonlight. Clara's heart was filled with thankfulness as she watched the sunset with her friends in the surrounding bush. She gave it considerable thought. Let thankfulness be my soft new shell in the flow in and out of life. Clara's heart, therefore, was as glowing as the sea at Chimpville, where the waves whispered secrets and the seashells shined and sparkled.
There lived a curious youth-related koala named Kaiola in the center of the eucalyptus forest. She loved and honored stargazing, especially when the stars twinkled like impressed doorways. Kaiola was sitting on her favorite gum tree one evening when she saw a shooting star leave a trail of stardust. This was her opportunity to travel to the famous Starlight Meadow, the place where dreams came true.
Hello, little stars. What enchanting fun trips wait for me tonight?
The whisper of the shooting star excited Kaiola, but she also remembered to be patient. So she packed her bag with her Love Star map, a moonberry sandwich and eucalyptus leaves. Decidedly, she started walking, trailing the twinkling stardust across moonlit meadows, across shimmering streams and beneath misted ferns. Along the way, she came upon a cricket humming melodies under the moonlight and a glowworm lighting up the night.
Do I need to pick up the pace? Maybe rushing will bring me closer to the stars.
Kaiola's paws grew tired, and doubts began to creep in as the trip took longer than expected. The glowworm served as a reminder that patience was just as important as the trip itself, and she questioned if hurrying would get her closer to her destination. Kaiola slowed her pace and enjoyed the sound of falling leaves, the taste of rain, and the fascinating dance of the glowworm as she listened to the wisdom of the forest. She found that the cover of wonder that surrounded her was waiting. When Kaiola finally arrived in Starlight Meadow, her heart was overflowing with happiness as she danced in the middle of the singing flowers and twinkling stars. The shimmering glowworms congratulated Kaiola for picking up the feature of patience. Her fur was covered with stardust, a symbol of her travels. Kaiola went back to the jungle and eagerly communicated her newfound knowledge to her buddies, teaching them the art of patience. She turned into a patient lighthouse, encouraging people to see the beauty in every moment. So, Kaiola, a representation of enchantment, dreams, and the practice of patience, perches on top of her tree in the eucalyptus forest, telling everyone who passes by that if one accepts waiting, it can turn into stardust.
A young wolf named Luna once lived in the heart of the impressed forest. Her pelt was as white as freshly fallen snow, and her eyes shone like the brightest stars in the night sky. But what distinguished Luna was her unstoppable commitment. Luna enjoyed exploring the forest, chasing butterflies, and listening to the rustling leaves. She wanted to be the boldest wolf in the kingdom. But there was one thing that scared her: the famous wise wolf. The wise wolf was a mystery beast who lived on the highest peak. It was thought that the wise wolf had very old knowledge and could see into the future. Luna had heard stories about the wise wolf's wisdom, but she had never seen it firsthand. Luna awoke one very cold morning to discover her group in danger. Food was not enough, and the small wolf pups were starving. Luna realized she needed to do something. She promised to go on a daring trip to seek the wise wolf's advice. Luna climbed up the steep hillside, leaving impressions in the snow. The wind howled as the trees whispered secrets. Luna's breath turned frosty as she approached the mountain. The wise wolf sat beautifully on a rock. Its eyes were as old as time, and its fur was a combination of silver and gray.
Brave Luna, why have you come?
Luna bowed beautifully. Luna expressed her difficult situation, starving pups, reducing food, and a wish to be bold. The wise wolf listened carefully and watchfully. Luna wants to know what is right.
You seek wisdom, but wisdom comes from inside. It is not about knowing everything, it is about making the right decisions. Clearness, my loved Luna. When faced with a challenge, trust your intuition. Be like a river which flows right away. Hunt with purpose and your pack will grow and do well.
Luna's heart was filled with determination. She thanked the wise wolf before lowering the mountain, her thoughts filled with fresh courage. Luna returned to the wilderness and led her pack on a hunt. She noticed a fast-moving deer and lunged right away. Her group of animals followed, and together they took down the deer. Luna's clarity had saved their lives. Luna was then dubbed Brave Luna. She taught the small wolf pups about courage, knowledge, and the importance of making quick decisions. And anytime they met a challenge, they would look up to the mountain, knowing that the wise wolf was watching them. The impressed forest blossomed due to Luna's bravery and the lessons she had learned. Luna understood that being clear did not suggest being brave. It meant acting when it counted most. As the seasons changed, Luna would sit under the moonlight, her white fur shimmering, and express her appreciation to the wise wolf. Luna had become wise, and her heart was as big as the jungle. When faced with doubt, trust your intuition and make brave judgments. The ability to make hard decisions is extremely important for success.
Buzz, a small bee, lived in a sun-kissed meadow with flowers swaying in the lovely air. Some buzzed lazily, but he buzzed with passion. His belief was honest.
Why settle for mere nectar when you can turn it into something amazing?
Buzz came from his hive on a bright morning. His wings vibrated with excitement.
Today, I'll collect the sweetest nectar in the whole meadow.
Buzz met Sunny, the tallest flower. Her golden petals extended into the sky. She told Buzz that real magic lives deep within and is passionate. Buzz visits daisies, roses, and lavender. He dipped into each bloom and sipped nectar. But Buzz did not stop there. He danced. He twisted, wiggled, and twisted and flowed. He discovered the joy of spreading life through his dance. Buzzy threw caution to the wind and danced with abandon, lighting the meadow with his fascinating moves.
Passion, this dance spreads life.
One beautiful night, Buzz had a dream. He spotted a field of flowers, their hearts full of nectar. Buzz weaved their wishes into honey.
Passion turns dreams into golden realities.
Buzz returned to the hive with liquid gold, honey that tasted like sunshine. His fellow bees were buzzing with curiosity. They asked Buzz what his secret was.
Passion, it turns ordinary nectar into total magic.
Buzz buzzed even more with lots of excited interest after that day. He danced, dreamed, and changed nectar into honey that shone like stardust. The meadow stirred up interest in his joyous hum, reminding everyone that passion can lift ordinary moments into amazing ones. Be like Buzz. Buzz with enthusiasm and watch the decoration of your dreams.
A tiny brown bear by the name of Benny used to reside deep within the enchanted forest. Although Benny wasn't the biggest or strongest bear in the area, his smile could light up the darkest parts of the forest, and his heart was as warm as the sun. Benny would get up early every morning and stretch his fluffy paws before going on his travels. He enjoyed following butterflies, discovering new areas in the forest, and sniffing for wildflowers. Oliver, an old and full of knowledge fox who lived next to Benny's comfortable den on a branch, was his closest friend. Benny and Oliver were sitting together under the old oak tree's shade on a bright day. Benny looked up at Oliver and asked himself,
Why are some animals so proud and boastful about their strength and speed?
True strength, like honey that warmed and sweetened all it touched, comes from kindness rather than extraordinary physical prowess.
Benny thought about this new idea of kindness. He recalled the moments when he'd given his favorite oak nuts to an extremely hungry rabbit and helped a lost squirrel find its way home. But he questioned out loud to Oliver if people would make fun of him for being so nice.
The ones who needed kindness the most were the ones who laughed the most. I believe that kindness is a fantastic medicine that may cheer up even the most gloomy hearts.
Given great ideas from Oliver's insight, Benny decided to become the forest's most kind bear. He taught young foxes how to construct comfortable dens, helped ants carry food, and enjoyed the melodies of birds. The other animals crowded together to watch Benny's brave and kind deed. With a humble blush, Benny said that he was just following his gut feelings, and the forest burst into thankfulness. They came to see that real strength was about supporting others rather than bragging. The enchanted forest developed a reputation for Benny's generosity. The wind whispered his name, and people sang songs about the shy and weak bear who showed everyone what true strength was all about. Benny carried on with his forest travels after that day, showing kindness everywhere he went. Little acts of kindness may really affect the world, as shown by the sound of his laughter resonating among the trees.
Tilly, a tadpole, lived in a lovely pond bordered by tall reed beds. Dreams as big as the moon came to Tilly. However, Tilly had one minor issue. She didn't have confidence. Tilly stayed close to the muddy bottom while her companions, the baby tadpoles, flipped and ran. Tilly whispered, "I can't do that." As she looked at her friends with a strong feeling of pleasure and wonder, appreciating and respecting their rich and attractive changes but remaining unaware of her potential. One day, Tilly met an old frog named Leo. Leo had spent ages watching baby tadpoles become frogs. He strongly encouraged Tilly to take a chance and insisted that he have faith in his emotions. Tilly waited, then threw her tail and leaped over the water. Tilly stayed around for a short while, her tiny legs trembling. A butterfly went fast by, its wings twirling with rainbows. It offers Tilly brilliant ideas. Confidence is thinking that you can fly despite your tadpole-sized frame of mind, not needing perfection. Tilly's eyes lit up with fresh energy, and she pushed herself every day, trying to jump higher and spin around quicker so that her efforts might be heard in the water. At Leo's poking, Tilly's heart raced, and she shot into the air, her little limbs trembling in fear as she hovered for a short time. And then Tilly experienced a tickle in her tail one lovely morning. Upon newly appearing in the water, Tilly's tail changed into strong frog legs. She was standing on a lily pad, her heart pulsing. "I did it!" she croaked. Clapping echoed in the pond. Her friends surrounded her with a lot of enthusiasm and praise. Tilly had developed into a confident frog who was ready to see the world. Confidence is not about being perfect. It is about believing in yourself, even if you are still a tadpole. So leap, swim, and sing your froggy song. You are more beautiful than you realize.
Richard, a small ant, lived in a nice anthill beneath a large oak tree. His buddies, as a joke, referred to him as Little One, but Richard insisted on being talked to by his real name. One bright morning, with a stirring of fun in his tiny heart, he packed his belongings, a green bag, and set out on a search for exploring things. Richard walked across beautiful meadows along pebble-thrown roads and waded through baby-like streams. Along the way, he met friendly ladybugs, talkative butterflies, and even a curious squirrel, all of whom wished him well on his trip. When Richard got to the Tiasa home of an elderly couple, he was greeted with warmth and friendliness. Despite the lack of an anthill, their tiny garden became Richard's new territory. Richard set out to create a lively community with the support of his newfound friends. As the days passed into weeks, Richard and his companions worked forever. They built tunnels, moved pebbles and gathered leaves, and their combined efforts changed the garden into a growing and successful environment. One unlucky night, a strong storm blew through, threatening to flood Richard's tunnels. Richard recalled his grandfather's wisdom during the chaos. With togetherness and resolve, the ants formed a chain to stop the rushing floods and safeguard their home. When the storm lessened, Richard came out of the tunnels to find a changed garden. They had not only survived, but grew and did well, beginning and building a nursery, a food storage facility, and even a dance floor for joyous celebrations. Richard's grandfather, who is now thought of as a wise advisor, reminded them of the need for hard work and perseverance. Richard and his buddies welcomed their new life, enjoying each other's company and celebrating their accomplishments. Their story became a message of thanks to the power of hard work and working together, motivating everyone who heard it to think that no desire to do great things is too small when chased after with passion and togetherness. In their modest universe beneath the oak tree, Richard and his friends discovered unlimited wonders, demonstrating that people who never give up on their wishes may reach greatness.
Serafina, a beautiful swan, lived in a calm forest by a glittering lake. Her feathers were as white as snow, and her heart was as pure as the crystal-clear rivers where she lived. Serafina decided one day, as the sun painted the sky with warm hues, to share her lovely dance with the whole world. Near the water's edge, she saw interested ducklings, their soft feathers ruffled by the mild breeze. With a whirl and a flap of wings, Serafina joined the ducklings in their beautiful dance. Her beautiful movements astounded the children, and their eyes widened in surprise. Serafina enjoyed sharing her dance, and the woodland stirred up interest in the laughter of new friends. Serafina's dance became very popular. She rose to stardom, and the feeling of wanting to be perfect overcame her. Ignoring the wise suggestions of the wind, she practiced continuously, pushing herself to the edge, unconscious of the results. Serafina danced unstoppably during a rainy night. As thunder roared and rains tapped on the leaves, her feathers were damaged, but she could not stop. The woodland remained silent, knowing the struggle within the once rich and beautiful swan. Enter Orion, the wise old owl perched high on top of a tree. Seeing Serafina's situation, he flew down and talked quietly. "Dear Serafina," he added, "real beauty is self-control. Listen to your heart's rhythm, not the clapping of others." In the silent moments that followed, Serafina recognized she was following a fake image. True beauty was achieved through balance rather than perfection. Self-control, like a gentle breeze, may push her performance to new heights. Serafina changed her dance, finding harmony in every movement, thanks to her newfound insight. She taught the ducklings about the importance of self-control. They performed a dance that spoke of balance and grace. Serafina's calm dancing motivated everyone in the forest. The lesson rang through the trees. Beauty is found in harmony and self-control. So, dear tiny ones, remember the story of the swan's wonderful dance, which taught us the need for self-control.
In the heart of Blue Bay, where the sea meets the sky, lived a dolphin family known as the Guardians. Their slim bodies floated through the crystal-clear seas, and their laughter rang across the waves. Let's explore their beautiful world. Luna, the youngest dolphin, had eyes the size of seashells. She wished to travel beyond the bay. Luna excitedly, "Mom and Dad, see! The sun is peeking over the horizon. Can we do somersaults?" Her parents, Marina and Finn, warned her about the dangers of the deep water. Luna's mother, Marina, remarked, "Luna, we are on duty, but maybe after our patrol." Luna encountered a sunken wreckage near the coral reef during their patrol. Inside, she discovered a rusted anchor tangled up with plastic rubbish. Luna whispers, "What's that shiny thing near the reef?" Luna understood she needed to safeguard her house and informed her parents about her discoveries. Luna discussed her discovery with Marina and Finn. They arranged a family meeting under the moonlight. They promised to keep Blue Bay safe. Luna's mother, Marina, remarked, "Luna, remember our promise to protect Blue Bay. Let's tear apart the plastic mess." Luna assumed the night watch prowling the bay. Her relatives joined her, forming protective waves with their tails. Luna chased away fishing nets and helped lost sea turtles. Tidal said slowly, "Young Luna, duty is like a tidal. It flows through us. We are the guardians. We have to keep the bay safe." When a storm came, Luna and her family worked frantically to collect loose debris and safeguard the delicate and breakable corals. Luna sang a bold song that led sea creatures to safety. Luna shouted over the waves, "Hold on, everyone. The storm is coming. Secure the coral. Protect the sea creatures." As daylight broke, the storm lessened. Luna quickly looked at her family, tired out but triumphant. As the storm lessened, Marina reminded Luna that responsibility was their most valuable thing. Marina said, "Our family bond is our greatest strength. You're doing well. And Luna, you're growing into a fine guardian." Luna got older and taught her own calf, Aqua, about their responsibilities. The guardians of Blue Bay remained careful in defending their home. And every sunset, when Luna danced with the sea, she realized that true beauty was their responsibility. Luna realized that defending the sea was her family's legacy. Together, they made a difference, one ripple at a time. Under the moonlight, Luna shared her pride in being a guardian. Her parents, Marina and Finn, both are proud of Luna, stated that their love for Blue Bay guided them. Finn continued, "Now let's tell stories under the moonlight. Duty can't wait."
In a peaceful field surrounded by huge reeds and beautiful lakes, a group of wild geese prepared for their once-a-year trip. Among them were two young geese, Gemma and Oliver. They were about to go on a fun trip that would educate them not just about the skies, but also about the value of obedience. Gemma and Oliver excitedly joined their friends as the sun lit the sky gold, their wings shaking and quivering with eagerness. Captain Gander, the wise leader, talked to the geese. "Listen carefully, my young ones. Our trip will be long and we must follow the rules of the sky." Gemma's pulse raced with excitement as she prepared to take flight into the huge, wide area of the sky. Captain Gander displayed beautiful takeoffs and landings. "Obey the wind," he stated. "It will guide you." As storm clouds formed overhead, Oliver waited, wishing to turn back and flee the upcoming disaster. Gemma nudged him. "We must exactly follow orders." The geese created a perfect V in the sky. Gemma and Oliver followed, their pulses thumping. They coordinated their flying positions, achieving the strength of working together and togetherness. "Stay in neat rows or groups," Captain Gander warned them. "Together we're stronger." As they moved to warmer temperatures, Gemma was fascinated by the beauty of the morning and the natural wonders that unfolded all around them. Oliver asked quietly and unclearly, "Why do we exactly follow orders even when it is very hard?" Captain Gander responded, "Because obedience keeps us safe and helps us grow and do well." Gemma and Oliver discovered that obedience was more than just following rules. It was also about trust. As they sat by a peaceful pond, Gemma stated, "We're part of a greater whole, and we'll always follow the wings of the wild geese." Obedience was more than just submission. It was a pleasing dance of trust and cooperation that moved them toward a common goal.
In the middle of the village, lying snugly between hills, was a bubbling fountain where an unexpected meeting was about to happen. The lion Leo was powerful and gorgeous, while the cat Cleo was little and athletic. They often crossed paths on the village square, but their discussions were far from friendly. One lovely morning, Leo and Cleo headed to the village spring to satisfy their thirst.
This is my fountain. Move aside, little cat.
Respect is earned, not demanded.
Listen, my friends, respect is like a delicate and breakable flower. It grows brilliantly when we treat others nicely. Prove your respect for each other.
With determined expressions and a trace of reluctance, Leo and Cleo accepted the owl's challenge, eager to demonstrate themselves. Together, they scaled a high tree, with Leo providing his power as Cleo found her way up, demonstrating their newfound togetherness. Cleo stalked a bird with calm grace, while Leo watched intently in the background, learning from the athletic creature in front of him. They laughed and learned from one another. As the sun set, Leo and Cleo sat beside the fountain.
You're not so bad.
And you're not so scary.
They touched noses to express discovery and respect during the time. From far away, the crowd grinned in agreement as Leo and Cleo gladly shared the fountain, repairing their differences. Leo and Cleo faced an external struggle together, linked by their strength and respect, ready to face whatever came their way. They developed unexpected friendships. With heads held high, Leo and Cleo overcame the challenge, their friendship unharmed and in one piece. Given great ideas from Leo and Cleo's odd friendship, the community realized the need to treat everyone equally, regardless of size, strength, or weakness. The villagers played happily around the fountain, showing an example of the very old good qualities of respect and peace.
Amid the forest, two squirrels named Sammy and Bella lived in a nook among towering pine trees. Sammy was a bold and rude little squirrel with a bushy tail that seemed to live independently. Conversely, Bella was wise and gentle, with delicate fur that sparkled like morning dew. As fall turned the leaves gold and bright red, the forest creatures hurried around, gathering oak nuts and nuts. Winter was approaching, and everyone realized they needed to save food for the cold months ahead. Sammy enjoyed playing jokes on others, and often hid his oak nuts in secret places simply for fun. One frosty morning, Bella spotted Sammy digging a hole near an ancient oak tree. She approached him, her whiskers twitching with eagerness.
Sammy, why are you burying your oak nuts so near the river? The water may wash them away. Oh, Bella, I'm just having some fun. Besides, I know where I have stored them. Sammy, winter is serious business. We must be responsible and keep our food appropriately.
But Sammy did not listen. He kept hiding his oak nuts in dangerous areas like beneath rocks, behind tree roots, and even in the hollow of an old log. Bella, on the other hand, carefully buried hers near their warm nest, where they might be protected from rain and snow. Bella's oak nuts were unharmed when the weather turned cooler, but Sammy's secret collection began to be reduced. The water washed away some, while hungry birds discovered others. Sammy panicked. He had no food left. One very cold morning, Bella welcomed Sammy to share her oak nuts.
Sammy, let's learn from our mistakes. Honesty and hard work will pay dividends. Let us gather more oak nuts together. You're right, Bella. I should have listened to you.
Sammy and Bella worked together to gather oak nuts and store them in their snug nest. Bella showed Sammy how to dig decent holes and choose safe areas. Sammy discovered that honesty meant more than simply telling the truth. It was also about doing the right thing when no one was looking. One cold night, as the wind howled outside, Bella shared her final oak tree nut with Sammy.
Thank you, Bella. You've taught me the value of honesty.
From that day forward, Sammy was the most honest squirrel in the wild. He helped others, shared his meals, and never did tricks again. The other animals deeply loved him, and Bella smiled with pride. As winter transitioned into spring, Sammy and Bella sat on a sun-kissed limb, their tails interlaced.
Remember, honesty is our greatest treasure.
So in that snug woodland, the story of the honest squirrel's secret stash traveled far and wide. The young squirrels listened and learned the good qualities of honesty. If you ever visit the woodland, search for Sammy and Bella's nest near the old oak tree.
It's full of oak nuts, symbolizing the power of honesty and friendship. Honesty warms the heart, much like a snug nest in the cold.